Hello everyone, this is Vivek Besburua, and today in this class I will explain the second part of the first lesson, class 9, Science Matter in Our Surrounding. So in this class I have included some topics. The first is change of state with respect to temperature and latent heat, change of state with respect to pressure, interconversion of three state, evaporation, and formula of Kelvin. So let's start. Now change state with respect to temperature. The first point is the heat is a form of energy which can flow. Heat is a form of energy which can flow. It can flow from one medium to another medium, or we can transform heat from one state to another state. Okay, when we use heat, we are converting thermal energy of heat to the kinetic energy. And the second point is temperature is the measure of heat. This means hot or coldness. That is, temperature gives the hotness or coldness of a state or a system. Okay, if the higher is the temperature, the higher will be the kinetic energy, because temperature is directly proportional to the kinetic energy. Temperature is directly proportional to the kinetic energy. Here this is the proportionality symbol, the symbol for proportionality. That means if we increase the heat or the temperature, then the kinetic energy of the particle will also increase. Now look at this diagram. There are three beakers. In the first beaker it is an ice cube, the second beaker water, in the third beaker it is a gaseous state or vapor state of water. Now when we heat this ice cube containing beaker with the help of any heat source like candle or any burner, the kinetic energy of the system will increase, so that it will first melt into water. Again, if we give heat here, it will boil. Then again, if we give heat here, it will vaporize. Okay, so we are giving 3 times heat here, here, the second beaker, the third beaker, 1 2 3 times. When the scientists performed this activity in the laboratory, they found that the temperature of this ice cube is temperature of this ice cube is 0 degree Celsius. Temperature when all the ice has converted into water or liquid state, but before warming it up also 0 degree Celsius. And temperature when all the water start to boil, here 100 degrees Celsius. And the temperature of the water vapor means the gaseous state of water, that is the steam of the water, 100 degrees Celsius. That means when we provide this fast heat, it converted from solid state to the liquid state, but the temperature is similar, that is 0 degree Celsius. And again, when you give heat here in the middle one, the water will gain the temperature 100 degrees Celsius from 0 degrees Celsius. And when you heat this 100 degrees Celsius water, it will convert it into vapor state or a gaseous state. Now we are giving heat to this beaker 3 times, 1, 2, 3, but temperature change take place only 2 times. That means only 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. So now the question is, where does this heat energy go? Okay. To explain this, a new term called latent heat is introduced by the scientists. So now let's start the next slide. The latent heat. It is the hidden heat which breaks the force of attraction between the molecules during the change of state but not raise the temperature. So be careful here. It only breaks the force of attraction but not raise the temperature. Means it, when we heat, or they found that this heat energy only is up in overcoming the force of attraction, or we can say bonding between, suppose there are two particles, okay, there is a bonding between the two particles. So this heat energy or the latent heat only used up in breaking the bond between these two particles, but nothing to do with any temperature increase of the system. So now look at this figure. There are three states: ice, water, and vapor. This is a very important figure actually. When we add heat to this ice converted into water. Again, when we add heat to water, it will raise its temperature from 0 degree to 100 degrees Celsius. And again, if we add this 100 degrees Celsius water, it will evaporate to vapor. And now again, if we cools down this vapor by removing heat, it will convert into water. And again, if we remove heat here, it will convert from 100 degree to the 0 degree Celsius. And again, if we remove heat from the system, it will convert from 0 degree to ice. Okay, so the first process is melting from ice to water, then 0 degree to 100 degree Celsius, it is warming. Then again, this 100 degree Celsius to the vapor, it is evaporating. Then again, vapor to the 100 degree Celsius is condensing. Again, from 100 degree to the 0 degree Celsius, this is called cooling. And again, from 0 degree Celsius to the ice, it is freezing. Now, when we measure temperature at the various states, we will find that the ice temperature is 0 degree Celsius and the vapor temperature is also 100 degree Celsius. Okay, so they used a new term called latent heat. This latent heat is completely absorbed by the state and acts as a hidden heat. Latent means hidden. Okay, so there are two types of latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of fusion is when ice converted into liquid, but before warming it up at melting point, so that the temperature of the system will same, and the latent heat is used to break the bonding between the particles. and here the latent heat of vaporization. This latent heat of vaporization means to break the bonding between the particles so that it will leave the surface of water and can freely move in upward direction to the atmosphere. Okay, here the heat is used only to break the bonding between this latent heat of fusion is only used to break the bonding between the particles, and here the latent heat of vaporization is used to break the bonding as well as the force of attraction so that they will leave the system and go to the atmosphere and can go to the atmosphere. But here the particles are still at the system, that is they are present at the system of the liquid, they are not overcoming the layer of the water. Okay, so graphically if we see this, then in case of water, here in this is a two axis, x and y. Okay, in the x axis we are considering heat supplied, in the y axis we are considering temperature. So here when you increase the temperature, that means we are when we supply the heat from 0 degree Celsius, the solid state will melt to liquid at 0 degree Celsius, which is called the latent heat, which is fixed. The temperature here is fixed because if we draw a arrow here, okay, now in this case the latent heat of fusion, the temperature is fixed, which is 0 degree Celsius, and again the latent heat of vaporization, where the temperature 100 degrees Celsius is shown here for in case of water. Here the liquid state converted into gaseous state, but the temperature of this system will be the same, that means 100 degrees Celsius. So the temperature is fixed, but the energy of the particles increases. So if someone asks you that the liquid at 100 degrees Celsius and gas at 100 degrees Celsius, okay, which one of them has more energy? So the answer is gaseous state, because of this hidden heat, that means the latent heat of fusion. Because of this, the gaseous state has more energy as compared to the liquid state, though they are present at the same temperature, which is 100 degrees Celsius. And the liquid state and solid state, liquid means the initial state of the liquid, which is at 0 degrees Celsius, is has more energy as compared to the solid state because of the latent heat of fusion. Okay, now a sense of state with respect to pressure. So here how pressure can change the state of matter. The first point here is at high pressure and at low temperature, gas converted into liquid or solid, and when we decrease the pressure, we are decreasing the when we increase the pressure, we are decreasing the space between the particles. Now look at this diagram here. There are three cylinders. The first cylinder is the gaseous state, the liquid in the second is the liquid state and solid state. Okay. In this cylinder there is a piston which can move in downward direction or in the upward direction also. So the first cylinder contains the gaseous particles which are moving freely around the system. Now if we move this piston in a downward direction, then the volume of this space or the space between the particles will decrease and it will convert into liquid state. And again, if we press this more, then it will convert into solid state. But we have to remember this point at low temperature, because if we does not decrease the temperature, then the kinetic energy of the system will not decrease, so that the system will break. So we have to apply low temperature and high pressure to make any gas into solid state. Now if we remove this pressure suddenly to this mass, then the solid state will directly convert it into gas state. For example, the chemophore or naphthalene, we can apply this method where we can convert the solid into gaseous state directly, or by raising the temperature. Now this will be the reverse process. We have to reverse the process by increasing the temperature and by decreasing the pressure. It will be reversed. Okay. So in case of carbon dioxide, actually carbon dioxide is called dry ice because of this. When the carbon dioxide is a solid state at high pressure, it is in solid state. But when we suddenly move this pressure to this mass, means if we decrease the pressure, the carbon dioxide will directly convert into gaseous state. The solid state will not possible to release carbon dioxide. That's why it is called dry ice. Now look at this figure, the interconversion of three state. This is a simple figure from your book, the conversion of term in different state, liquid, solid and gas. So when a liquid convert into gases state, it is called vaporization. When gas convert into liquid, it is called condensation. Then when solid convert into liquid, it is called fusion or melting. And when liquid convert into solid, it is called solidification. And here when solid convert into gas, it is called sublimation. And gas convert into solid, this is called deposition. Okay. So this is a simple figure. If you want, you can remember this and you will get the different definition from your book. Okay, so let's go to the next. Vaporization. So what is vaporization? Actually, the phenomenon of change of liquid to vapor state at any temperature below its boiling point. So below is boiling point. Remember this point, below is boiling point. So vaporization means the conversion of liquid state into gaseous state. These vaporization are two types. One is evaporating and one is boiling. Remember, one is evaporating, one is boiling. and evaporation is a surface phenomena. On the other hand, boiling is a bulk phenomena. So now I am explaining this with the help of this figure. Look at this figure actually. This is containing water. This is a water containing beaker, and I'm considering some particles here. Particle number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 particles. If you look at this figure, the 3 particles 1, 2, 3 are at the surface of the liquid. They are connected with the surface of this liquid. So when you increase the temperature from 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree Celsius, in between this temperature, in between this temperature, the liquid will evaporate by leaving this surface. But only the 3 particles, 1, 2 and 3 particles will leave the surface of the liquid. Okay, because the heat when we provide to the system below its boiling point, it will raise the kinetic energy of the 3 particles on the surface only. Why only the surface only? Suppose you have a question actually. Suppose we are providing heat in the below. Okay, then the particles will gain energy and become lighter and go into the upper direction, and the heavier particle, cooler particle, will go in the downward direction, so that at the result the high kinetic energy containing particles will leave the surface in terms of evaporation. So it is a surface phenomena because the particles will leave the surface by overcoming the force of attraction present in the liquid and change into vapor state. Okay, that's why it is called surface phenomena. Now boiling is a bulk phenomena. Why it is a boiling is a bulk phenomena? We know that the boiling of point of water is 100 degree Celsius. Yes, boiling point of liquid is 100 degree Celsius. When you raise the temperature of this beaker up to boiling point, then not only particle number 1, 2, 3 will start to gain energy, but also 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, means the whole particle system will start to move freely in this system, and at last there will be a point where all the particles will create bubbles, not only from the surface, from the below bottom of this beaker to the in upward direction. There is a formation of bubbles. Okay, so this is a bulk phenomena because the whole particle takes place in this process. On the other hand, evaporation is a surface phenomena because only the surface molecules will take place in this process. Now, below the boiling point means it will evaporation take place at any temperature. It may be at room temperature, that means 24 degrees Celsius also. Okay, or with the room temperature is because of the sunlight. So in natural phenomena we see this evaporation. In nature we see this evaporation as a water cycle actually. Okay, because of the sunlight, water cycle is an example of evaporation. Now look at this topic. The evaporation depends on, so evaporation depends on the surface area, temperature, wind speed and humidity. Okay, so Here look at this figure A and figure B. There are two beaker containing same amount of water, but the shape of the beaker are different. Now the first point is surface area. So evaporation is directly proportional to the surface area. That means that if you increase the surface area, the evaporation will increase. So here, if we heat this two beaker with the same amount of heat, suppose 50 degrees Celsius, to A and B also, then after some time we will see that the amount of water present in this beaker A is higher as compared to the present in the beaker B. That means the water particles leaving from the surface of A is lower as compared to the surface of B. That means the particles leaving more from the B beaker as compared to the beaker number A. This is because the surface area. Okay, as you can see here, the surface area of the beaker B is high as compared to the beaker A, so the amount of particle will leave more from the B as compared to the beaker A. Next point is temperature. This simple actually. If we increase the temperature from, suppose we are increasing the temperature from 0 degree to 100 degree, it is obvious that because of this temperature, the kinetic energy of the particle will increase, and also the amount of evaporation will also increase. Okay, so this is simple. Now the wind speed. Wind speed is very important actually. So when we boil or when we heat a liquid, it start to boil by overcoming the atmospheric pressure given by the atmosphere. This is a downward pressure given by the atmosphere. Okay, so now when we heat a liquid, the water get vaporized. Water will get vaporized, and it will create a cover of water vapor above its surface. Now this space is already occupied by the particles leaving from the surface. Now there will be no more evaporation if we does not make this surface make this space empty, because it will not allow, or it will try to stop the evaporation, because there will be no space for the new particles. So when a speedy wind coming from any direction, from or this direction, it will swap away the particles from here in a different direction, and this space will become empty. Okay, now this space is become empty for the new particles, and they can easily evaporate from the surface. So that's why wind speed is important. This wind speed is also related to humidity. So as you can see here, evaporation is indirectly proportional to humidity. When you increase the humidity, the evaporation will decreases. But on the other hand, the directly proportional, when you increase the surface area, when you increase the temperature, when you increase the wind speed, the evaporation also increases. That's why it is directly proportional. So here humidity, what is humidity? Is the amount of water vapor, is similar to one speed one, the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. So if we increase the humidity, then also the space will occupied by the particles, and the evaporation will decrease, because there will be no space for the new particles. Okay, simple. Yes. Now, so this is a formula of Kelvin actually, to convert from Kelvin scale to the Celsius scale. So if any value is given in, suppose 10 degree Celsius, so to convert the 10 degrees Celsius, you just have to put this value in the Celsius, then you will get that K equal to 10 plus 273. How much? It is 283 Kelvin. Okay, 283 Kelvin. Okay, so and again if the given value is a Kelvin scale, so 10 Kelvin, then you have to just put this value here. Putting this value, you will get 0 degrees Celsius 273. Now Celsius equal to 273 minus 10, then as a result we will get 263 in degrees Celsius. So this is a simple formula. Okay, I hope you understand. Thank you.